Lots of great barrel racing in this section. Let's start with Hannah Nolan. Oh, yeah. Hannah.
Say go, mama. Say go, mama.
You're going to like it. 1741, 1741. 16.253.
Hey everyone, it's Hannah here with NC Horsemanship. After mastering the 4 easy pieces of the body, which we have a video on that as well if you want to go check it out, it's time to start on the pattern. So this is just a little drawing that I did. It's not a great drawing, but it kind of gives you an idea of where your rate spot should be and where your snap should be, which is what I call our backside of our barrel. We do kind of a snap. So that's just my way of teaching the pattern. So we're going to start off and I'm going to show this to you on our off the track quarter horse Ducati that we have. He's never seen the pattern before, so this is his very first time through. So I'll show you guys. So your rate spot is going to be either, depending on your horse, like for example, Duke is large and he doesn't have a whole lot of stop to him yet. So I feel like he's going to be probably more of a free runner. So he needs to rate a lot earlier. So I rate at the barrel where his head is. And when I say rate, I mean you're going to stop. And then I wait till he gives me his head. I pick up on his inside rein and I use my inside leg, pick up that shoulder, and come around the barrel. So your rate spot is where your horse should slow down to make that turn. So right now we're training your horse how to slow down to make the turn, so eventually when you're running barrels, they will do it on their own. Also on your rate spot, this is where you should be sitting down, picking up that shoulder with your inside rein, and you will drop your outside rein and hold on to the horn. So rating is beneficial for both of you guys. You're training both of you guys to become a team and prepare for coming into the barrel. So here I'm coming back around. Always start your horse at a walk. I mean, I know it's kind of boring, but this is very important. So there's my rate. So now we'll talk about my snap. So what I call the snap on the back side of the barrel, and I took this term from a barrel trainer that I learned under. So I'll show you on this next barrel. So I'm rating, I'm getting control of his inside shoulder. On the back side of the barrel, I switch. I use outside leg, outside rein, and straighten him out. Instead of being, you know, completely round, I straighten him out. So then I have a straight line from my snap to my rate point. So that goes to, so then I'm giving him his best opportunity to propel from the backside of the barrel to his next rate spot to get as much speed as he can in that short distance. So now I'm going to come around at a trot, and once I feel like he's, you know, understanding it at a walk, then I do a trot. So I trot up to my barrel, and then I walk around my barrel. So at my rate spot, I break down to a walk, and then now I'm going to pick up my trot again in between my barrels, rate spot stop, and then I walk around my barrel. So here again, I'm teaching him you're gonna have to slow down to go around the barrel to make the turn. So I really want to instill into him that you need to make a speed change in between your barrels. And you also need to make a slower speed change and take it down a gear to turn around your barrels so that you can make it and not fall down. Also, I always finish my barrel, not always, mainly, I finish my barrels and I come to the side. So my third barrel, I will turn all the way around and come in between my first and third barrel. That helps you when you are teaching a horse to not blow off the backside of your barrel. Especially third, because they always want to run home on third. You can throw in a run home here and there so the horse knows how to do it properly, but usually in almost all of my training, I always finish my turn all the way between my first and my third barrel. So here I trotted him through the first and second barrels, but on the third barrel, he was really bracy. So I stopped at my rate spot and I made him circle the barrel one time. So if your horse is ever feeling like they're not holding their body position or they're really bracy, you can circle your barrels until, you know, you feel like they're soft enough to actually make that turn. So here I'm trotting through again. So what I'm doing is I'm giving him a chance to make a mistake. And then when he does make a mistake, I correct it. So like there, I gave him a chance to come around the barrel nicely at a trot, and he was really bracy, so I circled the barrel, and then he was nice and soft. So then we, you know, move on. We don't really I don't circle the barrel 8 million times unless, you know, I'm having some sort of issue. I'll circle it a couple times, but you don't want to make it unfun for them. So now we're trotting through again, and we're adding in our rate. It's also important to give your horse enough pocket. So your pocket is the distance between your horse and the barrel. So when you're starting a horse on the pattern, you want to make your circles very big, because when you start adding speed, your distance around the barrel is going to get really small. So make sure when you're starting on the pattern, give your horse enough pocket, and that even holds true to when you actually start competing as well. So picking up on that inside rein, I use inside leg to keep his rib cage round. And there is my snap, outside leg, outside rein to help him finish his turn. So it's very important to teach your horse that their inside hind leg of their turn is going to need to be underneath them. So that is what they use to propel themselves around the barrel, is going to be that inside hind leg. So you want to have control and make sure that hind leg is up underneath them so they can propel themselves around. So here I'm switching and I'm going the opposite way. And I like to switch it up sometimes because when you're starting a horse on the pattern, you're not really quite sure if they're going to be better to the left barrel or to the right. I prefer them to go to the right because most people are comfortable going to the right barrel first. So if you need to sell the horse in the future, then they have a better chance of being sold, honestly, because a lot of people prefer a horse that runs to the right. However, I do what's best for the horse. If the horse runs better to the left, then, you know, and is more successful to the left, then I'll run a horse to the left. So like here, we're just switching it. As you can see, I'm not working the barrels more than, 10 to 15 minutes at most, and then that'll be it. Give them a nice little breather here and there. Usually after I turn my third barrel, I usually let them, kind of give them their head and let them go out. So here we're trotting through another time. And I'm not doing a rate spot, and I'm letting him trot. I'm making an extra circle around each barrel. So this gives them something else to do, and it also helps them not try to get ahead of you, because some horses, Duke's not that way, but some horses will be like, well, I already know what we're doing, and they'll either try to be really ratey first and slow down before they're supposed to, or they'll really flatten out their rib, or they'll make their turn really funky. So when you're circling the barrels, this really helps them realize that no, you don't know what's going on, that we might switch it up sometimes. It also help them with their body position. Circles are extremely beneficial to helping them, stay in their frame and also get that hind end underneath them to help them move out. So here is going to be my last one, and I'm going to ride like I am at a race. So there I dropped my outside rein, I held onto the horn, and I sat. So we're trotting in between, I'm leaning forward, I sit back, drop my outside rein, and grab my horn. So I'm giving him a run through to see how he does without a whole lot of me holding him into his frame. And he did really good for his very first time going through. I was super happy with him. He hasn't ever seen barrels before, so I'm just really happy with how he's going to turn out, hopefully. So here I go back up to my first barrel, like I'm going to ride up to it, and I stop at my right spot, and I get off. And that is giving him a reward, saying going to the first barrel is a good thing, because I get off, I love you, I give you scrubs, I tell you that you're such a good boy. This is where your rewarding spot is, and this is where you can stop and rest. You always want to make the pattern a good place and a very happy place for them to be. So always reward them at the end of your ride. I recommend walking up to your first barrel and getting off there, and I'm loosening his girth. If you have boots on, take his wraps off. You want him to know that going to the first barrel is important. So stay tuned for part 2, guys, and thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe.